Welcome back, Truth Seeker. On March 17th, 2020, it was reported that 4 members of the Brooklyn Nets tested positive for coronavirus. The only name they put out on the team is Kevin Durant, which is interesting because he's not playing this year. And to this point, they've tried to make it look like the virus is spreading between players who've interacted with other players on the court. But aside from that point, I just want you to see the familiar pattern that we've documented with the other cases. The number 68. The name Kevin Durant in Gematria sums to 68, like Wuhan, like basketball. The last case announced by the NBA was Christian Wood, which sums to 68, like Detroit Pistons, like Wuhan, like basketball. Prior to that, it was Donovan Mitchell. And we talked about a lot of things in the video we did on Donovan Mitchell, but just to skip to the 68 part, Donovan Mitchell's 68, like Wuhan, like basketball. The reason Italy's here as well is because, remember, Kobe Bryant's connected to all this. He grew up in Italy. Italy's on lockdown, where the Pope is. We talked about how the announcement with the Utah Jazz and the suspension of the league had a lot to do with March Madness and the Jesuits in the Catholic Church. Again, when they suspended play, it was 85 days after the Pope's birthday. With the alphabetic order, basketball's 85. Again, Gematria is elementary math. It's based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. That's it. And just to remind people, it was March 11th, the NBA suspended play. If you haven't read my book, there's a long chapter on rig sports. I talk all about the NBA in 113. It's exactly how the chapter begins. Over the years that I've been doing this, I've made so many points about the NBA and rituals with 113. Think about it. The date, March 11th, 11/3, 113. The National Basketball Association 113. The only team in the league that sums to 113 is the Utah Jazz 113. Remember, Kobe Bryant's 113. Michael Jordan 113. Michael Jordan's remembered for his flu game against the Utah Jazz. Kobe Bryant played his last career game against the Utah Jazz. He wrote his retirement poem, Dear Basketball 113. This whole thing is news by the numbers. This is all contrived hysteria by the numbers. For years, I've tried to get people to understand how news media, sports media, it's connected, and it's all used to program the populace for the sake of agenda. That's what my book's about. That's what I've been preaching for 7 years straight. I don't know if it could be any more clear than it's ever been at this time right now. You guys think about it. This whole coronavirus thing doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. This state of emergency, these massive bailouts, all of these closures, because not even 100, well, as of yesterday, it now finally got to 100 people, but they were already doing this when it was at like 50 people. 50 people over the course of 2 months in a nation where 15 people die per minute from preventable disease and illness. This doesn't make any sense, you guys. It's killing the elderly. The elderly, sadly, they die every year from flu and illness. This whole thing is contrived. I've been preaching nonstop since 2015. The coming crash of the market will be intentional. It'll happen under Donald Trump. House of Cards hit TV show, Trump card. Donald Trump announces the 45th president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Follow the wall, follow Wall Street. He used to be a casino manager. Think about it. He's been bailed out how many times from bad business investments? This whole thing's a sick joke, you guys. It's a puppet show by the numbers. You learn the code, you learn the dates, you see the rituals. And by the way, Rudy Gobert, he's the only guy whose name doesn't sum to 68. Oh, by the way, you guys, before I get to Rudy Gobert's name, his name does sum to Wuhan, but doesn't sum to 68. But also the day they suspended the NBA season was the 142nd day of the season. Coronavirus 142, we're in the year of the rat. Been talking all about the same things. Go back and watch the older videos because there's a lot more here, but his name Gobert is 67 like Wuhan. Just using the alphabetic order as simple as it gets. And they were going to play Oklahoma City, 65 like pandemic. You guys, every single day, it's just news by the numbers. And if you want to read more about these stories, come to gematriaeffect.news. Use the search feature to look up the keywords. Coronavirus, basketball player names, all the stories are right here. If you want to learn how this code works, how simple it is, where it comes from, which is Kabbalah. Kabbalah states God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. This code is very important to Freemasonry, other secret societies. You want to understand this code, click the ebook tab. If you're on your cell phone, there's a drop-down menu in the top right corner. and pick up this book. You will not regret it. I guarantee you read 10 pages of this book, you'll be like, damn, I am glad I spent the $5, and realize the book's nearly 800 pages. You don't have to read it all. You read the first 50 pages, you'll really understand it. So, again, next video coming up on Tom Brady. We're going to talk about why Tom Brady really went to the Bucs. And again, you can be like the gentleman who has read my book and putting money in your pocket. You know, homeboy right here, Mr. Solo Dolo, won $500 off predicting that it would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Brady went to. How did he do it? Again, he saw the tampering began March 16th, 316. They mentioned it was the Bucs or the Chargers if he was going to leave. He ran Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He said 316. He goes, this looks like another day of Gematria Sports by the numbers. And he's $500 richer for it. Also, shout out to Big Al, who came up to Seattle to help me protest this weekend. Big Al inspired a lot of people to come out. Big Al on Saturday chilled in his hotel room while I was on the other side of the state, and he bet on the UFC fights, and he put a quick $2K in his pocket. And Big Al's doing it weekend after weekend. He's not betting a lot of money. He's just hitting big parlays because all of the world of sports is scripted this way. If you want to continue to sleep on it, you know you're not going to be the guy putting down $100 in cash and making $2K back weekend after weekend. A lot of my followers do that. Again, this really isn't about gambling. It's about spreading knowledge and ending the tyranny, but people need money to pay the bills. And, you know, because people are paying the bills, it's also affording them the luxury of coming up and help me pound the pavement and get the word out. Again, this is the way it's supposed to be. This isn't no gimmick, you guys. Been proving it 7 years straight. It's undeniable. Unless you're a coincidence theorist or suffering from cognitive dissonance. Tom Brady video coming up next. Till next time.